Hi, today we are going to discuss the social and emotional aspects of personality development. When we say about social and emotional development in a personality development, so we are talking about our experiences, how we get the experience, our expression, management of emotion, the ability to establish positive and rewarding relationship with other, and getting attuned or getting the awareness to the social and emotional stimulations. So these are the few things we have to develop when we are we are developing our personality socially and emotionally. So to develop the social and emotional aspects of our personality development, these are few of the basic skills we have to develop to achieve those objective of social and emotional development in a person. So these are some of the skills to develop the personality emotionally and socially. So number one is to display self-control. So the number one is having a self-control and displaying it. Then expressing our feeling with our words, so we can communicate our feelings. To listen and pay attention uh, uh, to the other people, to feel pride in accomplishments but and enjoying them, and to have a positive self image, and to aware to ask for help when needed, to show affection to familiar people, and to be aware of other people's feeling. So these are the few things we have to learn. These are the some of the soft skills, you can say, that we have to learn to become more socially and emotionally stable personality. So we are going to discuss these all one by one in the coming slides. So let's start with the self-control. So what is self-control? Self-control is the ability to regulate one's emotions, thoughts and behavior in face of temptation and impulses. So it is like it appears from his word, we are controlling ourselves or regulating according to the situation, our thoughts, behaviors, uh, when we are facing any temptation or any actions, any behavior, any sudden actions. So that will be our reaction to that, and it should be controlled to cope with that particular scenario or situation. So this is called self control. So these are a few of easy ways to increase your self control. So number one is, the first one is, look at the big picture. See the big picture, don't go in the smaller details. So a study shows that abstract and global or high level thinking promotes self control successes. So you see the always see the big picture, not the in smaller details. Then know the perils of inadequate sleep. You have to sleep good, you have to be calm, you have to be relaxed. So when it is come to the controlling yourself, you will be in a relaxed mood, and your body is not in fatigue. So relax already, yeah, that's like you have to be relaxed while you are doing. So relaxation, sleeping good, and looking at big picture, and then you have to do some short bouts of exercise. So make this that you're physically fit, do the some small exercises. And plus get digital self-control sport. There are a lot of apps in your phone, so play those games and make yourself under control. So this is another way of controlling yourself. And then knowing yourself, it is very important that you know yourself, your emotional intelligence, your physical um, uh, characteristics. You should know yourself. So if you are knowing yourself, it will be better that you can control yourself. Then the next one is avoiding decision fatigue. It means don't make too many decisions. So don't make your gut self tired by doing too many decisions, are going doing small decisions, are using your energy in that. So you know, uh, always be energetic. And they are saying don't do the important decision at the end of the day, so maybe you are tired, so sip some the finally sip some lemonade, so drink some water with the lemonade, with the lemon or things, that it will make you relax. So ultimately the thing is to staying relaxed. So these are the few simple things you can do to increase your self control. The next uh, skill you have to learn is that you should know how to express your feelings in the words, how you can communicate with other people. So create an environment where you can think critically and process the information. So the information you have, you have to think critically. You divide, or analyze the communication of other people or the other information, and then you will respond accordingly. Engage in free writing with a pen and notepad. Take a pen and a notepad and start writing anything you it comes into your mind. Use what you wrote to hone what you need. So you have to write anything what you need or what you want, so to express into a single sentence. So put everything into a single line, so you know what you want. So that way you will express yourself better. Analyze the overall situation and determine if what you want to say must be said. So be careful, not be careful, you have to exercise that you will say what you want to say in writing. So you have to do the critical thinking. You have to learn how to process the information, how to write it. You have to practice writing, and you have to put your thoughts in a very comprehensive and brief way, and then you analyze overall situation and determine that you have the things you have the thing written or said which you actually wanted. So the your feeling has been conveyed to the people you want to convey it. So uh, this is the next skill you have to learn, which is communication. So the next one is the how to improve your listening skills and techniques. In the previous slides, we talk about your communication, of how you feel your feeling, how you express your feeling. Now we are think. Now this is another skill, that how you will listen other people. So it is very important that you have the listening skills and techniques. So these are the few of the skills or techniques how you will improve your listening uh, abilities or abilities. Face to the toward the speaker. When you are listening someone, just face toward him or her. Picture what is being communicated. So this is, I always tell to my student that anything you read or listen, just visualize that, picture what you are being communicated. That will make you understanding better, and it is also keeping you remembering the things later on. So withhold the judgment. Sometime when instead of listening, we are always trying to thinking about what should be, we will answer to this, what will be our reply to that. So don't withhold to judgment, first listen. Don't don't interrupt people when they are talking. So let them talk, then let them have a let them to have complete their things, complete their talk or communication what they want to. Reflect and clarify. When you are listening, you have give the reflection that you are listening, and plus also get the clarification if you want to. Then after that, listening to person, summarize that what he or she is saying. Then you have to share or respond to that. So share to them that what is your understanding, what you have said. So in business, when we have a meeting, what we will do when we are coming back to our office or coming back to our home. So we are writing all our meeting minutes and then sending to the other parties that after this meeting, this is our understanding, that we talk about these things. So if there is any conflict, we can resolve that. So it is very important that you listen and remember and summarize that. uh, summarize that, and then you smiles and nods mean just say yes, with your is this kind of your body. Then eye contact, you should have eye contact. So you should looking at the people to whom you are talking. Then posturing mean you have to be straightforward and things that you are, and just tell that you are attentive. And then mirroring by mimicking. Sometimes you have to retalk, say what the speaker is saying, so that way you remember that, or you are, so practice empathy. So also practice empathy, that what he or she is saying, so what it is. So, and always be that if you will be in the place of speaker, what will be your emotion. So these are all things you have to do, that which will improve your listening skills and techniques. Be proud of your accomplishment. Love what you do, live for what you do, pour your heart and soul into it, and all you have got into it. But also celebrate yourself when it is merited and deserved. So the next thing is that you have to be proud of your accomplishment. Don't get self-conscious, or don't get into the whole false humility things by intentionally devaluing yourself or your contribution in an attempt to appear humble. So don't be try to be very humble when you achieve something. Celebrate it, get excited, celebrate yourself when you have done something great. Overcome the fear of self promotion and putting yourself out there. It is essential. So if you cannot sell yourself, then who will do for you? If you are unwilling to celebrate your biggest accomplishment, how will you know that what is the finish line really looks like? Every great venture has both a starting and a finishing line. So begin, you need the commitment, and to finish you need consistent and uh, consistent uh, and when you finish, you should be celebrating the hard work, dedication, sweat, tears, and all the energy you have to put in that. So it's very important that for the future accomplishments, for the future successes, or for the future wins, that you should celebrate all your accomplishment, even they are smaller or bigger. So it is very important to keep you moving. So you have to celebrate your successes. So don't shy off from your showing your happiness or your celebrations. There are many other reasons that you should be proud of your accomplishment, because these celebrations, this proudness, these feelings give you the enthusiasm, confidence, belief in yourself, commitment to the your cause, or in the future commitment, consistency. You will be staying consistent, and then you have it will give you the strong nerves, happiness, shared celebrations, peace of mind, and also it help other people, and you can lift other people up uh, in your celebrations. So it is not only help you, but also help people around you. So the next one is how to have a positive self-image. So self-image is the personal view or the mental picture that we have of ourselves. So these are the few specific steps we have to develop. We have to do to develop a positive self-image. First of all, we have to take a self-image inventory, that what we have and what we don't have. So this is a kind of a self-analysis. Then make a list of your positive qualities. So from that you will go to the positive qualities. What are your strong points? What are positive points in your personality? Ask significant others to describe your positive qualities. So you have to ask your friends, your buddies, your critics, that they should tell you what positive qualities you have. That so by that way you will get a kind of a neutral or impartial opinion. Define personal goals and objectives that are reasonable and measurable. So then you set some goals to make your personality positive, which those should be very reasonable, not out of somewhere out of nowhere, but and they should be measurable. You can see that when you are developing those things or goals, when you are achieving, so you should can measure it, that you have achieved how many percentage you have achieved. Comfort thinking distortion. So if someone is distorting or disturbing your thoughts, so you have to confront with that. So just face that. Identify and explore the impact of childhood labels. If someone has labeled you in the childhood any kind of thing, so you have to be take care of that. Identify and explore, and then try to get rid of those. Refrain from comparing yourself to others. So we are always talk about that. Don't compare you with yourself, I'm sorry, with other people. Develop your strength, like we have any all the strength, develop on that. So learn to love yourself, and you are the when you start loving yourself, other people will start loving to you. Give positive affirmations, uh, always appreciate yourself. Give positive notes to yourself. Remember that you are the unique. Yes, we know that everyone is unique, so you are going to remember how far you have come, and then you see from where you came here, from where you came to here. Because sometime we think we didn't do anything, but if you see that we were kid, we were in the first grade, now we are in the 12th grade, or we are in university, so we accomplish all these things. So and also see your positive things. So and then that way you have a positive vibe to your personality. This is another skill or another attitude or another characteristics you have to develop in yourself, that when you need help from someone else, so how to be aware of where to ask for help when needed. So it is very important that you should know that when you have to ask for the help and when you shouldn't ask for the help. So we all need help in our life from time to time, but it's not always easy to say so. So no matter how far you have come in your life, you may worry about seeming incompetent, weak, or simple annoying if you ask for assistance. So sometimes you are shy, or you are feeling shy, that maybe you will not ask the help from someone. But seeking support isn't a weakness, so don't think that it is your weakness. Sometimes seeking help is your strong point. In fact, it's often difference between failure and success. It can prevent costly or embarrassing mistakes and mark you out as someone with self-awareness, confidence, and an understanding of the shared goals. So some people like it that you are sharing your issues or your goals with them, and they are there to help you. So these are some of the had things, or when you need help, is when you are sometimes you are a little afraid, even you are capable of doing things, but you still need. So you won't get far without this, far away without, and you cannot move further, so you need this kind of help. So it is very important that when you need help and when you don't need help. So this is both thing. This is your self analysis, and the situational analysis is very important for you to ask for help. So next thing is that how you show affection to your familiar people, to your friends, to your family. So it is very important that you should show your affection to your familiar people. So first of all, you identify the way of you are showing affection. So what are your ways of showing your love and affection for your family, or for your friends, or the people around you who to you know them. Share the feeling of affection. So share the feelings what you have for them. So don't hide them inside you, just show them. Be more affectionate yourself. You become more lovable and more affectionate in yourself. So by doing helping other, by caring other people. So it shows that you are a affectionate person, you are a lovable person. Reinforce your on your positive behavior by rewarding yourself. So it is, always we are talking about that you appreciate yourself, that you have a positive behavior with every encounter you have with the people. Just go back and check that if your behavior was positive, if it's positive, just have a reward yourself, appreciate yourself. Talk with your family people about their feelings. It is very important that you will talk with them about their feelings, how they feel, and it shows your concern about them and your affection for them. So show all your appreciation, like I said. Be receptive to their affections. If someone be affectionate with you, showing the affection, so you will be receptive. Accept their affection. Don't just reject their love and their affection for you. So set aside time for you know for a relationship. So it is, sometimes it is not it doesn't look nice, but in our busy life you have to have some time for everyone, like visiting once in a week to someone, or some of your relative, or having dinner or going outside. So these all things should be scheduled, because our lives are becoming uh, so busy, so we take things for granted. So um, touch also help them feel more affectionate and understood. So sometimes, touching your father, your mother, your it help your friends, it hugging them, it will it is the way of showing your affection for them. So they like it. uh, Doing fun things together, like watching movies or playing cards or going to picnic, etc., is the other way of showing your affection for your family, or your people who are around you, or you are socially interactive with them. So these are the things you have to do. These are like real small things. So if you do that, your personality become more likable, affectionate, and your image will be increasing among your friends. So the next one and the last one is, that how we will be aware of other people's feelings. It is very important, and sometimes it is very complex, that to be aware of other people's feelings. So it is very important to socially and emotionally stable or active, so other people's feelings, so you can behave, or you can modify your behavior according to their feelings. So they have divided these behavior, feelings, into four different symptoms, four different pattern, four different areas of how you can check their, how can you find out their feelings. So first of all, recognizing social cues about emotion. So first of all, you have to see that what kind of signal they are giving you about their emotions. Pay attention to the person's face. You see their face, if you look happy or if you look sad, or learn the sign of sadness. What kind of, be aware of sign of fear, if they are feeling fear, if they are sad, if they are, so pay them attention. Consider body movement and posture. What is their body language is saying. Think about what vocal tone might communicate. When you talk with them, you see if they are, and them, if they are in a low tone, it's mean maybe they have something, not, they are sad or something. So these are the few things you have to see: their face, their sign, and sign of sadness or fear, of their body language, so you can find out what kind of motion they are going through. So then, listening with empathy. So number two thing is that when they talk with you, you have to be very empathetic with them, and very also, sympathetic. Clarify that you understand what other person is said. So it's very important that you understand or clarify if you have some doubt that what they are saying. Give your full attention to person speaking. Yeah, it is very important. Sometimes people talk with you, and if you don't give the attention, then it is like not very good gesture or good behavior. So give the attention to people while they are speaking. Listen without judgment, like we already talked, that don't give that judgment before even listening to them, or unless they will not complete their what they wanted to say. So you use good manners. Yeah, you should be very attentive, you should be very polite, you should be very attentive and showing good manners. You have all attention toward them. Acknowledge what the person has said. It is very important that you acknowledge what the other person is saying to you. And if you don't don't be rude, or don't be ignorant their feelings. So don't respond too quickly, and also listen. Be uh, be poised. So, and don't be so quick to responding them. First understand what they are saying. So it's very important that you understand their feeling by empathizing with them. So to judge their feelings, you have to communicate with them very kindly, ask question. You also give value to their thoughts and their feelings. Choose the best way to express your feeling, and be, don't be rude, like I already told you. And then affirm the positive when offering criticism or feedback. So be positive, don't be negative when you're offering some critical things, or criticizing them in or giving you feedback. So be positive. Your tone should be positive, and you should be not you should be saying thing what you feel mean, but you should be in a positive way. Avoid platitudes and cliches, like don't talk, I'm not saying rubbish, but don't talk meaningless thing, or the things which are not very interesting, and these are like old and overused. Some sentences, when you are saying it, it shows that you are just talking formally, or just because since it happens, you are just talking. So be more interesting with their things. Talk differently, and in my opinion, talk specifically, to use body language to communicate respect and response. So you always uh, use the body language to show that you are listening to them, you are very kind to them, and you are you have very sympathy, or you are very involved with their things. So this is very important, that your communication should be respectful and responsive. Then lastly, taking care of your own feeling is very important, that while you are you are talking, or you are getting the other people's feelings, you also control your own feeling. Become aware of your own feelings, that what you are feeling. Don't be overwhelmed. Sometimes we are overwhelmed with the things that we become, instead of helping them, we are not we are going to other side. Learn coping skills, coping the skills, how you cope with the learning, or having the other people's feeling. If they have grief, or they have a joyness, you have to control your feelings as well. Protect yourself, getting harm from other people's feelings also. So these are all things uh, to have your for your to see the other people's feeling. So we come to the end of our this session, this lecture. So I try to be staying very simple, and telling you the how you can develop your personality, uh, emotionally and socially. I mean, your emotions, your inside, and your social is outside. So you have to see that how you are living in this, how you are improving your personal skills, or soft skills, to uh, have a better personality. So this was a kind of second part after physical personality development. We talk about the emotional and socially. So next will be connovative. So I hope you understand. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.